So I have a graphic. It's called the leadership learning curve. Or learning of leadership curve. So imagine when the child is born, the child has zero ownership over their learning. Parent has 100% ownership over that child's learning. But then you fast forward to 14, 15, 17, definitely by 18, 90% of the learning is really in the hands of the child. So over that 17-year period or so, there's a switching of ownership. And it's not linear, but at some point, that child should have more decision-making authority about their life and their own learning than the parent. Where that happens is really based on how intentional the parent is at building that child's ownership. So how do you involve the child? You start, as Kath said, you start super early in building the tools that the child will need to be a decision maker for their own life. And by the way, by doing that, you are creating the conditions where your child can leave your home and you don't have to sweat them anymore, because you've watched them, you've coached them. For me, my goal was by the time the child was 13, that was my goal, that they would have 80% ownership of their educational experience. It turned out to be more like 15. But right now I've got an 18-year-old, literally, I have zero idea. I mean, we talk about it, but I have no ownership or responsibility of his learning. My 16-year-old, we have daily check-ins because she's doing her own learning plan, and my 15-year-old the same. But I have no concerns about them making decisions for themselves because I've taught them. So yes, a child has to be involved in the decision making, and the more that child is towards that older end of the spectrum, if you now are making decisions for that child, you actually might be doing the same things that schools do, which is to disempower a child at the very moment in time that they need to be empowered to own their own lives.